So the World Cup group stages are finally over. A lot of teams I thought would go through went through. Some smaller teams got out. And some of the other teams, particularly ones I predicted, decided to play really, really, really sh. Hey guys, Jack here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reacting to my predictions from the World Cup group stages and give you my reaction to them and just kind of give you a general idea of what I think of them, what I think of the tournament so far, and do I still believe in Argentina? Let's jump into it. So this is the video that I predicted the World Cup in, or tried to anyway. And in general, I think I got a lot of my predictions right. So go through the groups, Senegal and Netherlands. That's how it went out. But it was a very poor group, and I'm quite and I know I guessed, and I said after the video it was Ecuador, but I'm going to claim that. But Ecuador I was probably one of the most disappointed not to go through. They played really well, but they just didn't get the results that they needed. But credit to Senegal. And I remember I was listening to a podcast where they said that the Sadio Mane injury would have either saw them like completely not bottle it, but they wouldn't be able to perform, or you'll kick them on, and we saw that during the group stages. Netherlands just managed to grind out a few games. Cody Gakpo has had a great tournament so far. Not exceptional, but he's been pivotal to the side. England, USA, I thought it'd be a lot. I'm really happy with that guess. So England kind of grinded through it again. Well, not grinded, but against the US, my boys. They did well, and the US, credit to them, they performed. They were brilliant tactically. I'm really surprised how well they've done in that regard. Wales were disappointing to me, and Iran did well despite the issues around them, the background with the political conflict back home, and obviously with the players and female fans. It's just ridiculous, but I hope that gets resolved. Group C, Argentina, Poland. I was pleased. Argentina went through. Poland, I was so depressed seeing that final game against Argentina. I thought Mexico could have gotten through in the end, but Poland did well, and they just did not even well. They did well enough just to get by. Group D, I was disappointed in Denmark. I thought they'd just run the group because of their record against France, but they disappointed me. They performed all right, but they just didn't do enough. Group E, Spain came second. Germany got knocked out. I was very surprised about that. I just thought they'd have enough in them. I know they haven't been great, but I thought they had enough over the likes of Japan and Costa Rica. We'll be talking about that in a bit. Belgium, Croatia. Again, Belgium, I thought, given their record from the previous World Cup, I think it's 62 games, only 7 losses, I thought they'd do better anyway. And Croatia came second in their group. They did enough to get out. And Brazil, Switzerland, that's what I thought. Great last game to the group stages for Switzerland. If you didn't watch it last night, it was unbelievable, really. Instead, I thought it was going to be Serbia, attacking, and Switzerland sitting back, but it was not that. 3-2 victory for Switzerland, and it was great fun. Then lastly, Uruguay, Portugal. Again, Uruguay, I thought they had enough over Cameroon and who else played? Who did Portugal play? South Korea. And it took just a 91st minute winner to seal it for South Korea to get into the knockout stages. But enough about my predictions, which I'm pretty happy with. Let's get into the knockouts. So this is the group stages as it stands. So Netherlands are going to be playing US, Argentina versus Australia, Japan, Croatia, Brazil, South Korea, England, Senegal, France, Poland, Morocco, Spain, Portugal versus Switzerland. So I'm going to go through every single game or just every team. Netherlands, as I said before, haven't had a great World Cup in terms of performances, but Van Gaal has gotten results, and that's what you need. The US have been, as I said before, brilliant tactically. Argentina, obviously had the shock defeat against Saudi Arabia, but I think they figured out their mojo now. They understand how to play and what they need to do and the systems that they play. Messi just being Messi, and Enzo Fernandez has been great as well. Australia is a beautiful story, I find. Qualification was extremely difficult for their manager, who seemed to, he was basically on a game by game basis over the security of his job, but they've done excellently. Mitchell Duke with an unbelievable header in their game against, I think they were against, I can't even recall, but it was their second game, but it was unbelievable header, and they got through, and I'm really happy for them because I have friends from there, and it's really nice to see. It's a great story for them. Japan versus Japan, excellent tactically. They obviously beat Spain in the last game, beat Germany, and they did the exact same thing for those two games, which was change it at half time, and that worked for them. And surprisingly enough, I know people who were surprised really how well they played. Like, I have family here who said that Asano was one of their favorite players to watch because he just seemed to have, you look at him and you say he's going to do something. Croatia, did enough. I think Modric has been immense for them. Don't think it's been a great tournament for them, but he's done enough for them. Brazil, like, they got through the first two games and then they played a pretty much rotated team with Dani Alves because vibes. They probably could have gotten something out of that game, but credit to Cameroon, who got out, who tried, had a good performance against them, but Abubakar getting sent off, for celebrating and taking the shirt off, just great crack. South Korea obviously getting through in the last day, and just having a great, I say Son Heung-min was crying afterwards. I say it was such a big emotional kind of burden on him because he was injured and it was kind of touch and go whether or not he'd feature, and he has, and well done to him. England fans are disappointed that they didn't beat the States, and I feel it's ridiculous. You can't be pleased as an England fan because you say to yourself, it's like, of course we beat Iran, we're the best team ever. Or if you draw against the States, you're like, we're the worst team ever, we're going to lose, we're not going to qualify. And like, that's what I was seeing. It's ridiculous. Senegal, again, as I said, did well without Sadio Mane. France have been quite decent, and again, they had the same thing with they had the same privilege as Brazil. They were qualified, so they decided to play a rotated side for their third game. Poland been dire really, just to watch, and like, they got fortunate with the 2 goals that they got against I think it was against Saudi Arabia. They were just poor throughout the tournament so far. Like, Szczesny has been their best player, and I can't tell you who else has been good, who's been a good performer. I think Szymanski needs a chance, who is playing at Feyenoord and has been immense for them. Morocco, probably one of my favorite teams to go through. The surprise packages. Same with Ecuador. Like, I was sad to see him go, but Morocco have definitely taken that up. Sofiane Amrabat, who plays for Fiorentina, and if you watch the streams I did of Football Manager, where I got sacked, which that's here, no, there. He's been brilliant for them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how well they get on. It's going to be difficult against Spain, but anything's possible in this World Cup. Spain obviously drew against Germany, beat Costa Rica by just killing them essentially. Brian Ruiz they had to knock him back into retirement at this point, and they did enough to get through. There was a point during that's probably been one of the most exciting groups, their group, because at one point Costa Rica and Japan were going through, which was immense. I couldn't believe it, but it's great now. That's it's good. It's good to see that Spain are through, especially with the young side that they have. I could see them. I don't know how far they'll get in this tournament, but I can see them doing very well in the next Euros and World Cup. Then lastly, Portugal got 2 wins, played a semi-rotated side against South Korea, and Ronaldo, clubless at the moment, jobless. I'd say he's not worrying about his bank balance at this point. But they've done all right. But I don't think they should play him. You've seen Bruno Fernandes have a brilliant tournament, and they don't need Ronaldo in the team. But of course, Ronaldo being Ronaldo, he has to play. And it's going to be interesting to see how they get on against Switzerland, who can be very disciplined. And Breel Mbolo, their striker, has been brilliant, very selfless. And I've enjoyed him in the tournament. And hopefully we get to see a couple of upsets here. I was going to go through this thing and kind of predict, but I think I might just do it per just go through each round and just give you my observation on every game. But in terms of my team that I'm supporting, the US versus Netherlands, obviously there was a story about the Netherlands having the flu prior to this game, and it's later today at 3 o'clock Irish time. I'm guessing the US are going to win. I hope they do, and they could come up against Argentina or Australia. But the thing is, I want the Aussies to win. Overall, I think it's been a brilliant World Cup, probably one of the best group stages I've ever seen. Like, we've had a lot of upsets. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, Australia beating Denmark and eventually knocking them out. South Korea getting through. Germany just not even making into the knockout stages. It's been ridiculous. Like, Morocco getting through as well. But I think as well it's been a big tournament in regards to the political messages that have gone through. I'm going to link a few articles from The Athletic down below. You can get a free trial and stuff to have a look at them, because they're really interesting reads, and looks at the Iranian protests both in the stadiums from Iran itself. Obviously the LGBTQ instance that we've had, with Wales fans not being allowed to wear rainbow bucket hats. Obviously the protests are running onto the field. The One Love armband. It's been mental in those regards, but it's important that we remind ourselves of these political issues. And I've said this before in a previous video, but we can't not link politics and football. Unfortunately for Infantino and the Qatari organization running the World Cup, you can't distinguish the two. You can't separate the two, because they're interlinked, whether we like to admit it or not. And I think it's important to keep that message up and just remind ourselves that we are a lot of people, especially in the Western world, we're very privileged to have the freedom that we do, freedom of speech that we do, and the lack of, fear from our government. And and that's important. And I think we need to remind ourselves that what we consider as basic human rights, human needs, a lot of people don't get that. We just need to remind ourselves about that. And now with the World Cup in its knockout stages, I still think Argentina are going to win. As I said to you earlier, I think they have the mojo now, and I want to see Messi lift that title. But looking at the group stages, if it ends up being an Argentina-Portugal final, I'm more than happy to see that. If that's going to be it now, I'm looking forward to these group stages. I'm going to do a review of the US game. Hopefully it's a win for us. And then I'm going to do another video on the round 16 results. So thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care.